Ben's Tale, An Adventure of Truth and Myth. Book 1, Seeds of Destiny. Chapter 1, The Rise and Fall. Written October 18th, 2005 through June 19th, 2011. Father's Day. By David Daddy Amrod. Once upon a time, not so long ago, in a place not so different than this, there was a young boy named Benjamin. He was a wonderful boy who was filled with love and gave his parents endless joy. He was all they had ever hoped for in a child and so very much more. One day, when Ben was just over 2.5 years old, he was sleeping in his big boy bed, taking a midday nap. Ben didn't really need to take the nap. He never was very sleepy. He only took these nap time rests because he knew his parents thought it would help him recharge for the day. And though he always slept soundly during them, he felt they were more of a duty than a necessity. It only took a few minutes from when his parents had put the cute, huggable boy to bed in his bib overalls before his dark eyes were closed. His feathery light brown hair flipped about his head in unmanageable wisps. His oversized hands were curled under his chin. His feet flopped out to each side. Within 20 more minutes, he was turned on his side, peacefully relaxed in a deep state of sleep. His father was also sleeping during this time, all comfy on the couch in the living room. He also wasn't tired. He just fell asleep sometimes when he was reading. And though Ben's mom told his dad to rest upstairs, his father didn't honestly need to rest as he was only reading. And though he almost always ended up snoring like a chainsaw when he was reading, he thought it a bother to go upstairs to bed when he wasn't tired. It had taken him less than a page of reading after Ben had been tucked in before his green, gray, brown eyes had trouble seeing through his heavy eyelids. His long, muscled arms and legs felt too heavy to move. His pudgy gut was contently full and warm from lunch. His mouth and chin were too tired to handle the tiny weight from his goatee. He fell prey to the conspiracy of his body's need for a midday recharge. He opened his mouth ever so slightly and snored. Ben's mother was very tired. She could not wait to take a nap. Ben and his dad were a handful at times, and today they were even more so. There were some days her men couldn't get enough of each other, giggling, playing piggyback, hooting and hollering like some crazed free spirits. This was one of those days. She loved them both so much, but days like this were exhausting. Ben's mom rinsed the last of the lunchtime dishes, stacked them in the dishwasher, then washed and dried her hands. She filled a tumbler with water and walked back past the back of the couch, shaking her head at her snoring husband. She turned the corner and climbed upstairs to catch a snooze in her snuggly bed. Her shoulder-length, wheat-colored hair had a flyaway caught in the corner of her mouth that she absently flicked away with her pinky as she quietly ascended the stairs. Her piercing blue eyes wandered about as she contemplated how peaceful it felt with her guys asleep. She was a few inches above average height, with a curvaceous shape that caught her husband's eye whenever she entered the room. An honest natural beauty was about her that she never saw in herself, and would deny to anyone who ever tried to point it out. Such trivialities meant little to her, and to be honest, the only thing she had on her mind right now was how her muscles wanted to deeply relax into her mattress. Just as she reached the top stair, Ben's mom heard a hideous wail. She spun around to see where it came from when she was pushed into the wall as something flew past her and crashed into Ben's room. Ben's mother quickly regained her balance and rushed to see what had gone in with her little boy. When she had entered his room, she gasped in sheer horror. She had never seen anything so ugly before in her life. Leaning over her frightened son was the leering, twisted face of a grotesque woman. A woman with gnarled hands, talons for feet, and what appeared to be the wings of an oversized, filthy crow sprouting from her shoulders. Ben's mom rushed into his room and threw her glass at the creature, shattering it on the bizarre thing's face. As her hand came down, she grabbed the standing lamp just inside the doorway and yanked it out of the wall. She whirled with it like a club and drove it down toward the beast before her. Her actions took the creature off guard, and her swing connected with the side of its head. In the moment, while it was stunned, Ben's mom scooped him up. She rushed to the stairs. All the while, she heard a horrible laughing howl fill the whole house. As she spun to go downstairs, she glanced at the beastly thing lying on the floor and noticed that the sound didn't come from it. Wherever the maddening cackle originated was a mystery she didn't have time to indulge in. Before she moved 1 foot down the steps, Ben's mom was shoved to the side. The creature had stood up and rushed her with incredible speed. The force flew her through her bedroom doorway and slammed her into the opposite wall. She had not even seen the thing move from her baby's floor. Her mind could barely register that she was sprawled out on her bedroom rug. She protectively clutched Ben close to her heart. The bird thing screeched as it slammed the door to her room all the way open. The door hit with such force that the knob broke a hole in the wall and jammed there. The monster ducked through the doorway as it entered the room. Ben was clinging tightly to his mother, his arms wrapped securely around her while she pressed him against her chest. His white eyes were fixed on the haggish creature, his shock so great he was unable to scream. The bird woman swayed slightly as it took 2 purposeful steps into the bedroom. It continued to lower its head as it came in. It had to hunch its back to adjust for the top of the room's 45-degree slant. Even so, its wings scraped along the ceiling. The horrifying monster leaned over Ben's mother, intent on taking the child. The bird thing reached out its knotted hand to steal Ben away. His mom lashed out her foot with pure desperation. Her kick had every ounce of her behind it. She connected squarely with its beakish nose. The creature howled with a screech so forceful that every window in the room shattered. Purplish gray liquid poured from its mouth and nose. It literally shook with rage. Though Ben's mom had stunned it, it was determined to complete its task. The beast wiped the foulness at its face on its feathered elbow, then shot out its arm and grasped Ben's mother at the throat. It drew her up and squeezed her neck in its twisted fingers. Her arms uncoiled as she began to pass out. The creature plucked Benjamin from his mom and tossed her like a rag doll once more against the wall. Ben's mother reached out one last time as she faded. She grabbed the air as she slid down the wall. The evil laugh rolled away. Her ears were pierced with a mind-tearing screech. She heard the tinkling of glass, then nothingness as she succumbed to blackness. Hello, all, and welcome to our first unit of our first chapter of our first novel we are putting up on YouTube. Ben's Tale, Book 1, Seeds of Destiny, Chapter 1, The Rise and Fall. We plan on putting up one unit every week, sometimes two if they are small, with a piece of art for each unit. Most of the art will be done by our title character, my now 21-year-old son, Benjamin. The week's art is by guest artist Summer Treesong Breeze, an incredible artist out of Canada's capital, Ottawa. If you enjoyed the beginning of this story, hit the like button and come back next week for next bit. Subscribe and hit the bell, and please be sure to let your friends and family know about the story so it can get spread out there. If you want to support us, become a member or become a patron on Patreon. Links should be below, but we're still fighting to figure these things out. If you have any thoughts you want to share, feel free to post them on the wall below in crayon. Try to keep things civil. We are so new to this that we are open to pointers, but we are only human, so please be nice. Our hearts are tender to the hammers of truth. 90% of our cut of the money that comes through Patreon will be going to help pay for my 90-year-old mother's, Ben's Grandma Edie's, care at home. In a few weeks, I will post a picture of her adorable self. Thank you very much for visiting. Peace, hugs, and happiness. David Amrod, signing out.